Good morning everyone. Welcome to this Super Good Editor. இன்னைக்கு நம்ம கம்யூனிகேஷனை பற்றி பார்க்க போகிறோம். ECE related subject. So coming to this, we are going to discuss about modulation. First of all, what is modulation? Modulation is some changes or something that is done on the carrier. Signal according to the message signal which we are transmitting. So we are going to transmit some message signal with the help of carrier signal, and the modulation is done on the carrier signal with respect to the message signal. Okay, why we are doing modulation? What are the advantages of modulation? Modulation helps in reducing the antenna size, which means நம்ம மாடுலேஷன் பண்ணும்போது ஆண்டனாவோட சைஸ் நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ண வேண்டிய ஆண்டனாவோட சைஸ் கேன் பி ரெடியூஸ்டு. நோ சிக்னல் மிக்சிங், சிக்னலோட மிக்சிங்கை இது அவாய்ட் பண்ணுது. அண்ட் தென் ரிசப்ஷன் குவாலிட்டி இம்ப்ரூவ்ஸ். த சிக்னல் விச் we are receiving at the reception end has good quality. And coming to the types of modulation is primarily divided into three types. ASK, which means amplitude shift keying, then PSK, phase shift keying, and then finally FSK, which means frequency shift keying. In amplitude shift keying, the amplitude of the carrier signal is changed according to the message signal. In phase shift keying, the phase of the carrier signal is changed according to the message signal. And in frequency shift keying, frequency of the carrier signal is changed according to the message signal. Let's discuss further about this. Okay, coming to the ASK, which means amplitude shift keying. Here we are going to discuss about the binary amplitude shift keying. We know that binary means we only consider two values, that is 0 and 1. In amplitude shift keying, first we are going to discuss about on-off keying, which is shortly denoted as OOK. Coming to the on-off keying, in which if the message signal is 0, then there is no transmission of the carrier. If the message signal is 1, then we should retransfer the carrier. This is the on-off keying. Coming to the ASK, which is general typical ASK, if the message signal is 0, then the amplitude of the carrier gets decreased. If the message signal is 1, then the original carrier with the original amplitude is retransferred. Then we are going to discuss about phase shift keying, which is binary phase shift keying. In binary phase shift keying, if 0 is the message signal, then there will be a phase shift of 180 degree, which means pi. 180 degree phase shift in the carrier. And if the message signal is 1, then there will be no change in the phase of the carrier. Coming to the frequency shift keying, which is here we go for binary frequency shift keying. In frequency shift keying, if the message signal is 0, means the number of cycles of the carrier gets decreased by FC minus n term. If the message signal is 1, then the number of cycles get increased by the term FC plus n. Here the FC represents the frequency of the carrier and n represents the modulation index, which we will discuss in later part. Okay, I have made a graphical representation for this binary modulation techniques we discussed so far. First of all, we consider the message signal. Here I have taken the message signal as 01011, and I have taken a simple carrier wave. Coming to the OOK, on-off shift keying, you can see when the value of the message signal is 0, there is no signal here. When the value of the message signal is 1, the carrier is transmitted as it is. When the value of the message signal is 0, you could find here there is no carrier signal. and when the value of the message signal is 1, the carrier is transmitted as it is. Coming to the simple ASK, you can find here when the value of the message signal is 0, the amplitude is reduced. When the value of the message signal is 1, the carrier signal is transmitted as it is with the original amplitude. Again, when the value of the carrier message signal is 0, the carrier amplitude is reduced, and when it is 1, the amplitude of the carrier is same. Coming to the phase shift keying, you can see when the value is 0, the carrier is inverted, that means the phase is changed to 180 degree, and when it is 1, the carrier signal is transmitted as it is, and you can see it continues as follows. When it is 0, there is a phase shift of 180 degree, and when it is 1, the carrier is transmitted the same. And coming to the frequency shift keying, when there is a 0, the number of cycle is reduced by FC minus n term, and when the message is 1, there is an increase in the cycle. This is 0 and this is 1 when the message signal is 1, and this is when the message signal is 0, and this is when the message signal is 1. This is the representation of the modulation, binary modulation techniques we have discussed so far. Thank you so much.